Hello, church family, and welcome to this Friday edition of BHC Today. Today, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite verses in all of the Bible. It's found in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, where it says, "And we know God works all things together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose." Listen closely to those words. And we know God works all things together. God causes all things to work together for good to those who love him, to those who are called according to his purpose. Two things first jump out to me. First, it doesn't say that all things are good. Bad things happen to us all the time. Second, it says it happens to those who love him, to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. In last week's sermon, I shared with you one of the three hardest years of my life, probably ages 13 to 16, when my father was without work and my mom and I ran three businesses. We had paper routes, we had a snow cone juice vending business, we had a popcorn business, and we ran an ice cream parlor. And all that going to school in the 9th and 10th grade were three of the toughest years of my life. As I said before, I grew up way too early. But I thought things couldn't get worse, but they could. It was the summer before my junior year in high school when my mom said we were moving. I had lived in this one town called Meridian, Mississippi my entire life. It was all I knew. I thought I would live my entire life there. Suddenly, she said, "Your dad has an opportunity at a job at a town 3 hours away." Well, 3 hours could have been 3 million miles for all I knew, because I was going to a new place where I knew no one and had no idea what would happen. It was probably the lowest point of my life, leaving behind my security, my friends, and my comfort zone, everything that I knew, to enter into an unknown territory that only God knew what would happen. But I went reluctantly, but when I arrived at my new town, I had no idea what God had in store. My very first week, I met new friends, I got a job, I started playing sports again. For the last 2 years of high school, I got to be a kid again. I played three sports. I played baseball, and I played tennis, and I played football. I made lots of friends, and it seemed like I soared like no other time in my life. When I graduated from high school, I felt like I was on top of the world. I looked back on those final 2 years of high school, and what I thought was the worst of times, God used for the best of times. Why? Because when I moved to my new city, I knew no one. I first trusted and depended on God unlike any other time in my life. I went into my new high school. I said, "Here we go, God. I know no one. I'm going to trust that you're going to help me make friends. Here we go, God. I don't know a soul. I want you to help me make wise choices and wise friends." And I grew in my faith in Christ. I grew in my friendships with others. My confidence soared, and those were the two of the greatest years of my life. I look back on what I thought was the worst of times, and they were the best of times. Why? Because God causes all things to work together for good to those who love him, to those who are called according to his purpose. So the next time you get discouraged, the next time life doesn't turn out the way you planned, the next time you think you've got lemoned, remember, God can do wonders in your life. Trust God, depend upon God, and remember, all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. May God bless you and be encouraged.